Again, it's not about me, it's about us. This is for all of us. So again, I appreciate you guys that have taken the time to always be present when it comes to us actually meeting, as well as other things that we do together to grow together. Again, this could not happen with all of you that have actually been with the beginning. The Facebook Notary Group has been in existence for 5 years now. That was in December, on December the 7th. And so many of you have known me prior to that. And again, some of you are still getting to know who I am. My goal is to always, again, bring relevance to you, build your confidence, and help and support you with whatever you might have some trouble with or questions about. So you can always call, text, email, and I will respond as soon as I have availability. Now that time, or I should say, our group is growing. My time frame is minimizing, so my availability is not as it was once before, but that's all good. The goal is for you to be equipped so that you can also help your fellow notary. That's always been the goal, is to build everyone up so they can be as knowledgeable and be able to help anyone else that's new in the industry that is really needing some guidance. So we should all have a buddy system in place. I am a veteran, and that's something that we were big on, is to have a buddy. No matter what we did, even going to the latrine, we're supposed to have someone with us. So it's the goal is to have someone that can partner with you when you're needing, again, the additional support and guidance, as well as just knowing that I'm here as best as I can for everyone, as much as I can. So again, thank you guys. Before we get started, um, I want to give you some housekeeping. We are on a new platform for those that have never been on Meetin. Meetin has been a replacement for Zoom for me. This is something that I now own. I don't have a subscription to. So this has been a beautiful segue from what I used to use, and it gives me the ability to do quite a lot of things. So I'm going to go over how to navigate in this platform. Again, if you're here for the first time, you're just kind of figuring out, okay, this is different. Yes, it is. So let me share this screen so that way you can kind of get an idea of what it is that will be, how to navigate your actual um, platform from what you're seeing. And so let me go to the chat. So here we have, you see all of us. However, depending on how you want to see us, you have this view. You can put it as gallery. You can put active speaker, including yourself, or active speaker, excluding yourself, or the audience view. All right. So this is again options that you should be able to see and navigate on your end. Here for the menu, you will see where it says everyone. This is what you will display on your end. You can invite other people. I do encourage you to invite other notaries that may not have attended a Tuesday Notary Tune-Up or have been around any of the community engagements that you have the opportunity to have been a part of. So please do share. Sharing is caring. Audio video settings, you can see and make sure that you can hear and we can hear you, as well as be able to see you when it comes to your video. And then edit your profile if you're wanting to change your name, have your full name, your position. You can always play around with those features as well to add. And these are phone commands for those that are using your phone versus on a laptop or a tablet or a desktop. So these are the things that you'll be able to, again, use a function for what you see on your end. Stop sharing, you can actually see the sharing option for you. If I put it and presented it, I am going to make sure I put in the hands. It's going to be over in this area. So once we stop sharing, or once I stop sharing the screen, I'm going to add that feature so that way when it comes to a question, please do raise your hand so we can try to keep everything in some type of order when it comes to acknowledge those that want to speak, and I'll be able to try to get to you in the order that you guys' hands were raised. Your microphone, again, if you want to mute yourself, that's what you're on right now. If you want to speak, you need to unmute yourself by clicking that camera. I do encourage everyone to show your face. The reason is because if we were face to face in actual place, I'll be able to see everyone unless you're wearing a mask, which is usually halfway, right, for protection. But we don't have to worry about doing that right here in our own home. So I would love to see everyone so I can be familiar with who it is in the room. And when we actually communicate off screen, I can visualize who I'm talking to. So I'm a person who remembers who I'm talking to by looking at your face with the name to actually have a conversation. Of course, your voice definitely goes a long way, but that helps me. And I want to build your confidence in knowing that you're doing your business face to face with other people. You're not in a mask. Otherwise, they probably are not going to want to work with you because they're going to think that you're not real, or better yet, you're scamming them. So the goal is for you to show that you are a person of integrity that don't mind showing who you are. Okay. So again, that's one of the things I always encourage during these forums. Um, when it comes to the view, again, went over that part. And when it comes to the chat feature, this is great for you guys. Everything that's here for everyone, you can again put in your county and your county and your city as I requested, so everyone would know who's who. Now, when it comes to questions that you may have, then there's a Q&A button. So this is where you will actually put those questions, and the answers will be here, or I should be able to come back to answer them here or someone else. But everyone should see the Q&A on their screen. Also, when it comes to you having the ability to have a record of what was actually put in the chat, you have the ability to go to this down arrow and go to copy to your clipboard. All right. So everything based on the last thing that was commented will actually be on your clipboard, or you can save the chat to a file and it's going to be a TXT file for you. So you can always go back if someone is sharing their phone number and contact information. Great. Because our goal is to stay connected in other places outside of our TNTs as well as Facebook group. Some people are not on Facebook, and they are able to get information from my emails to know that, oh, TNT is Tuesday. Let me make sure I'm there. So again, for those that are not actually on Facebook, they still want to be a part of this. So the goal is to make sure you all have access to everyone's information that decides to share it here. So again, please do play around with this feature and make it yours. When it comes to what you can do, you can make the text small, medium, or large. And because my vision is not like it used to be, let me make that larger because I don't want to be squinting, or because even with these, I have what they call the vision bifocal. I have the, I can't think of the name because it's not bifocals I want to use, but you get the gist. Basically, over time, I have to take my glasses off to read small print. But while I'm on my computer, I need my glasses. So that is something I've had to wear since fifth grade. So yes, this is a part of who I am, is having corrective lenses. But this is how you go about actually working through this platform. If you want to leave, then you exit through this X. So again, this is a great opportunity for you guys to again understand how to utilize this platform without feeling confused or behind. So that's never the goal, is to put you in a position that you don't know what to do. So this is how you do that. Let me actually go through stop sharing, and then I'm gonna put the raise hand, and then we'll be starting our presentation that should be no more than about 5 minutes, so that we can go over some collaboration afterwards, because this is something that again I'm big on, is visible. I'm being a visible notary, how to really market yourself and really make sure that you're getting customers versus just having a commission sitting on it because you don't know how to properly position yourself. I think that's what most notaries are struggling with. I should say entrepreneurs as a whole. Marketing is another job. So you will need to eventually think about having a marketing manager as you're growing your business, and being able to afford one. So that is always the general goal, is finding ways that you can bring relevance to what it is that you're currently doing. So let me find my settings here. And I know a few of you have taken advantage of getting your own meeting platform. So congratulations to those that actually took the plunge when it was a Black Friday sale and it was a discounted rate. Because again, when you pay for something once and you still can benefit from all of the innovative updates, that is a gem in itself. So again, this is something that I like to always share. I don't keep things to myself. I'm not a gatekeeper, so to speak. I like to be able to share and help others. You're going to either use it or not. It's not going to affect me either way. So my goal is to just keep you well informed. Let me make sure I have this right. There we go. Let's see. All right. So you should see the raise hand feature now available to you. And so this is something that you can take advantage of when we get to that part in our meeting to cover our Q&A and this discussion. So let me share my screen so we can go over exactly what we're going to enjoy talking about tonight. So tonight we're going to go over the visible notary, gaining and maintaining customers while staying relevant in this year 2026. So when it comes to being a local expert, this is something that you want to reach, okay? Just understanding exactly how to properly position yourself. We go through, again, posting, but sometimes it's not reaching just because you probably ain't positioned the best way. So the goal is for you to learn how to do a little of that tonight. So the reality is, while the world goes digital, North Carolina still relies on the in-person experience. Your value isn't just your stamp, it's your availability and reliability. Your goal is to move from being a hidden notary to the neighborhood notary. When someone in your town needs a document signed at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday, your name should be the first they find. When it comes to your digital storefront, your Google business profile is key. So for those of you that have not actually got your Google page up yet, I will encourage you to take some time to read up to learn how to position yourself. I do also offer tutorials on that so that you don't feel as you're again hitting a dead end if you're possibly not doing things correctly, because there is a method to the madness when you actually start working through it. So instead of you going or being like deers in headlights, that's the goal, is to try to get some guidance if you need it. So when it comes to why it's critical for general notary work, we aren't doing rent at the moment. It's still up and coming, but again, where we are, we're still doing in person, right? So your physical location or service areas is your biggest asset at this time. When it comes to local SEO, that means local search engine optimization. You may have heard this a lot of times when you have heard other people talking about their business online or read about it, but wasn't really sure what that really is. Well, when someone in Raleigh or Gastonia searches for notary near me, Google uses your Google business profile to decide if you're the closest solution. I'm actually moving faster than I'm supposed to. I apologize. Okay. So with the key features for for you as a North Carolina notary, you want to focus on your service area. You can list specific counties or zip codes you travel to. Add photos of what it is that you're using, your actual notary kit. Post photos of your professional seal, your journal, and or you in actual, respecting the privacy of your clients and customers, of course, but it proves you are a real person and not a scam. When it comes to reviews, ask every customer, if I made this easy for you, would you mind leaving me a quick Google review? This is something that, again, is very important. In order for other people to actually trust and want to work with you, they need to see exactly what your relevance is. What is the experience that others have had? How many of you go to a restaurant for the very first time but have not looked it up to see the reviews? very little. Or even better, where do y'all go to actually um, be in a or should travel and you haven't been in a certain location before or the specific hotel or Airbnb? Do you also not look at the reviews? So that is something again you want to think about yourself in that position. You're on the other flip of the coin. You want to make sure people are able to see what others' experiences were with you when it comes to the review. We cannot accept gifts, we cannot accept tips, but we can accept reviews. So if you did such an astounding job, you can ask them for a review versus a tip at that time frame and try to make it immediate. The best way to do that is have a link readily available to share with them. All right. So on your Google Business profile page, once you have it established, you have a way to have a quick link that you can create. You can also create that link into a QR code, which is what I have done. I create keychains, excuse me, create keychains with your QR code on it so that you can have it readily available to share with your customer right then and there to get the review. If they leave before you mention getting a review, you may not ever get one from them because out of sight, out of mind. And if it's not there instantly, they're too busy to get back to it. Just think about it. How many Amazon packages you have ordered? How many reviews did you actually give to the person that the product came from? All right. So start thinking about that for a moment. Timing is everything. Then when it comes to the in-hand toolkit marketing for every encounter, you want to make sure you're always readily prepared and wanting to impress those that you're working with. So the local expert advantage when it comes to exactly what you can actually um, take and help others see, you want to make sure you have your business cards. All right. You can include your commission expiration date and a QR code to your Google profile, as mentioned before, and it shows that you are a compliant and tech savvy notary. So that can be very impressive to those that you're coming across. Branded notary pins. I do this for a lot of my trainings. Most of all of my notaries that actually do any of the trainings with me will always get a pin. All right, I always try to make sure they're well equipped. But when you're out on the road and you're actually, or I should say, out in the field and you're assisting someone, always bring additional pins. You can have like the store bought pins, like the pilots, all of the different ones out there. However, nothing impresses someone more than them having your pen, that you have your website or your phone number and or email address. So the goal is for you to find every opportunity to take advantage of by highlighting who you are just by that simple way of having your information on your particular pins that you're able to give to them. Rack cards, brochures. You want to create a simple card listing your additional services. This is something that cannot fit ideally on a business card. A business card is a very small space of information, and you want to make sure it's not crowded so people can really read it. And you want to make sure the font type is at least 10 points or greater. So, again, when it comes to people reading, they don't want to fight to try to figure out what it's saying. So, the goal is to have a screenshot of what it is that you're doing, your contact information, who you are, what you do, and how they can actually contact you. When it comes to a bigger stationary piece of paper, like a rack card or brochure, now you can add if you're actually doing any other services beyond what you have listed, maybe as a snippet on your card. So again, the more space you have available, just like a website, the more information you're now able to put in on those particular platforms, as well as making sure nothing is cluttered. So that is really important is to make sure you have a clean, professional look when you're actually advertising anything that belongs to you and your brand. So creating a simple card listing your additional service to leave again at the senior centers, mail centers, and local law offices or whomever else you may actually drop by. If you go into your uptown area or other areas in your city, You can find so many places you can drop this information at. So please take advantage of those opportunities. When it comes to staying relevant, it's beyond the stamp and it's a service mix. All right. So aposty facilitation, that's an option for you to actually incorporate that as additional services that you can offer in your business. Being a field inspector, there's so many different things out there that you can actually look into. It could be you observing vehicles for a company that are doing claims when there's a car accident. It could be where someone has tripped and fall, or trip and fail, I should say, in a public area where it could be a grocery store, restaurant, and they're doing investigations, and you're there to also go out to do some preliminary investigation of how high the actual curb was, the pictures of the parking lot, the lighting, if it was a certain time of evening or night. So these are things that, again, other notaries have been able to take on to actually accelerate more services that they can actually offer. And I-9, this is something that you are not required to actually notarize, but it is something that most notaries are known to be, I should say, selected to actually complete, because of what we currently do is properly identifying someone. So as an I-9, you are a representative. Okay, you're not a notary public. You are just an authorized representative in that capacity, and you can charge $25 or more for your services because it's not by general statute. So again, that is something that you may want to consider. All right, so the next thing also you can consider is being a courier or a permit runner. It's you offering the services to actually pick up something and dropping it off. And it could be anything when it comes to apostates, as well as other types of permits that a company may have, and they need to go to a certain location, and they can hire your U.S. Using your services to do that, to make sure they don't have to worry about stopping what they're doing to handle this themselves. So this is just a minimum amount of things that you can actually do, okay? Because there's so much more. But this is just, again, for the idea of bringing some things to your attention that you may not be fully aware of. At least this is something that you can actually incorporate. So when it comes to always being ready, you want to have that mindset. So you want to always be prepared and be proactive to be able to show up and show out when it comes to you showing others what you can do. Gaining customers in North Carolina is about visibility. Maintaining them is about versatility. All right. So don't just be a notary, be a local professional service provider. That is the goal. And if you're watching this replay, please subscribe, like, and share this with fellow notaries. And thank you for your support. And the goal is for you guys to also be a subscriber to our YouTube channel, which is at NC Notary Coach. All right. So if you go to your YouTube channel, put in NC Notary Coach, and you should be able to see the channel and be able to subscribe. Also, click that bell so that you can also be able to know next video that's dropped, because there will be additional videos added outside of our Tuesday Notary tune-ups. But because a lot of you all are not able to join every single week, the goal is for you not to miss a beat, because you're able to now have access to it while you actually come onto your YouTube and join us there. So again, guys, I thank you for actually being here. If you have any questions, let me check the chat to see if anyone did. All right, Charlene. So the first question I see is, when is it appropriate to use an embosser? Had a customer ask me about using it. Well, if they prefer an embosser and you have one, then sure, you can use it. Many times I use my embosser if the document requires it. There are certain legal documents, or I should say documents I've received that is from the courthouse or from an attorney, and it actually specifies embosser. So when I began my notary journey back in 1998, the embosser was the very first type of stamp I had. The stamps were not that popular at that time, but eventually it was more and more that I was seeing more of the stamps versus the embosser, and I just over time got all of them. So I always have the option based on what the need was or what I felt was more appropriate for the document to use when it comes to my stamp based on the space of what I need to actually focus on to actually use. So that's how I went about my utilization of the embosser.
Do you have to have a gold seal over it, or could it just be just the regular? Does it need ink, or does it really? I've never used it. I have one, but
So you can use the gold sticker that you can actually impress upon. So that way, if you're faxing something, that light will actually reflect so they can actually see your information clearer. Clearer. If you're just doing it on a document without that gold seal, it's hard to see it without someone brushing lead pencil over it so they can see the impression that way. And that's why the stamp itself was very useful because you can see it on any type of scan or fax that you may send through that way. Can I get someone to moderate the Q&A so I can actually work on putting some things in the chat itself? Oh my goodness, and the whole chat has disappeared for me. So um, if any of you guys still see it on your end, please download that file for me and send it to me when you get a chance because when I had to go out to come back in, everything disappeared.
Okay, there was a question from Rhonda. You want that? Is that what you want me to do, Belinda?
Oh, yes, please.
Oh, okay. She said, "Do
Thank
you
you.
need?" You're welcome. Do you need additional certification for field inspections?
It all depends on the company. They may have a questionnaire for you to fill out or application. So it's a case by case basis when it comes to the company you're applying to. So any company you work with, they should have an application process.
Okay. And then George said, "Could you please post the YouTube link in the chat box?"
All right. So that's coming to you.
And that's it, Belinda.
All right. So, guys, this is an opportunity that you can actually raise your hand and allow me to have you ask your question or make a comment. I posted a question in our Facebook group earlier today of who has created a Facebook business page. Miss Vicky, I understand that Miss Vicky is really good. She be on me, boy. Okay, so I appreciate her because I forgot to specify what type of page, and she's like, "What platform?" So I was like, "Oh, that's a good one." So yeah, if you have not created your Facebook business page as a notary public, my question to you is why have you not done that yet? Having your actual profile for your personal is something that you have to have already established to make any other pages or groups. But if you're really wanting to take your business to the next level, designating a business page for your notary services is key. That is a page that you're going to then connect with your Google Business profile for more visibility as well. On your on your Facebook business page, it allows you to create the authority that you have as a notary public, being able to educate your ideal customer when it comes to your family, friends, co-workers on that platform because Facebook is usually a area where you're going to find your neighbors that is on there. They're talking to their children and family members. But guess what? This is also a way that you can drive traffic to your page by being intentional. Search engine optimization works on Facebook as well. So you want to make sure that when you're creating posts by naming them. Okay, so when you take a photo with your phone, it doesn't already have a name. It has these different characters, right? .jpeg or .png. You don't want that when you're posting. You want to change that name, add it specifying what it is for. So if you're taking a picture of a signing that you're doing with someone that is coming to you because they're actually selling their vehicle and they need the title notarized. Well, ask them if they mind having a photo taken where you can possibly have a person that can take a picture of you notarizing a document for them. You can blur out their face. So that way, if they're private and they don't want that, you can get permission to still take the picture, but confirm with them that you won't show their face. That way, again, there's no issues when you post this publicly. The goal is for you to show visibility of you doing the action of what the picture is that you're wanting to promote. So you're going to put car title, notarized. You can put something similar to that. So this is going to help you make sure that search engine optimization for the keyword in your photo is now been able to be visibly found when it comes to what the metadata do. Okay, so there's a lot of things behind the scene that you may not be familiar with, but it's okay. You got me who can help guide you on this. So that's one of the reasons why I'm also doing the content planning for the year. In literally, for the last 2 years, I've had posts that has been positioned to actually be dropped every single day of the year. The goal is for me to help you know how to do that too on a budget, affordable. It's going to take some time, yes, and it is a process you must build. But there are things that's actually available at no cost. You just got to know how to work it and use them. And then there's platforms that you can pay, and the one that I'm using is pay once, and I don't have to pay for it anymore because it's mine. So that's the whole point of me presenting certain things to you because I want you to win. I want you to be visible. I want you to be able to help so many other customers. All right, Lindsay, you're next, and then Candace, you're second.
Okay, so I just wanted to make a statement based on last week's Tune Up Tuesday.
Yes.
I just recently realized in my email where my there was a power of attorney that was signed by my aunt. However, my aunt is incompetent to understand to really understand what a doable power of attorney. So hopefully within the next month or so, I will be, starting the process of getting her evaluated because
Okay.
it's just this kind of like this Tune Up Tuesday is giving me information, things I need to notice because it goes into the notary who actually notarized the document. She should have been able to realize and notice that the person who is signing or the person who is given that power of attorney was incompetent in even understanding anything on that paper. And my aunt, she don't understand anything. She wouldn't. I even asked her last week, "Do you know what a power of attorney is?" She said, "No. What is that?"
Okay. And
So,
that's and I'm sorry that you're having to go through that. I know it's hard when you
yeah,
see, someone you love, not really being aware, like they once
right.
were. So
However,
yes,
I'm appreciative that I was able to get that and be able to notice it and be able to understand
good.
what's going on. But yeah, and it's family members that's involved with it. So, and I know that
Okay.
once I push this, I know that the notary is probably going to get in trouble for it. So, yeah,
Well, that's not your concern. Your concern is
right.
the welfare of your aunt and making
Of
sure that
course.
she is in her
Of
position.
course.
And because you are in this position, everything happens for a reason, where you are
Right.
able to question and observe and do your next steps of
Right.
protecting her. So kudos for you
Right.
for identifying those things. Keep me up to date on how that goes, okay?
Almost definitely.
All right, thank you so much, Lindsay, for that. Candace, you're next. Then it's going to be Miss Reese and then Tina.
Okay, I have two things. I have a comment about the embosser. I just purchased from the NNA and it arrived today. You can get a little stamper to put over the paper once you emboss it so that it's has ink on it, but yet it's still raised. So I thought that was pretty cool. I was playing with that today.
Thank you.
Oh, so you got you a new toy.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, show it off so people can say, "Oh, that's impressive." Yeah.
And then I have a question on journal entries.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching a mock loan signing the other day that took place in California, and the notary showed their mock journal entries, and they had an entry for every document that the signer signed. So he had 4 entries because he
Mm-hmm.
had notarizations. Is that proper for North Carolina? Or could
So
I
when you're dealing, so for North Carolina, when you're recording anything that you notarize, the rule of thumb is to document, yes, how many jurats, where you're gonna specify if they were under oath or if you actually administered the affirmation in lieu of oath, versus an acknowledgement. So you're going to document how many acknowledgements and jurats were in that packet, right? And then you can write in your notes section exactly what the titles of the documents were. So that way, when it comes to the document type, you'll be able to specify that, and that way you're covered based on exactly what all took place during that time that you were notarizing the documents in that setting, if that answers
so,
your question.
so would the signer have to sign the journal 4 times then if it was 4 documents?
No, they only need to sign once for the date that you actually met with them, and everything should be within that entry of, or I should say, the journal entry itself. So you will have the one signature from the signer. Of course, you'll have all of their information as far as properly identifying them recorded. But when it comes to us as a notary, we're document all that took place that we notarized for them.
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome. That's a good question, by the way. All right. And who was next?
I
Miss
think
Reese
it was
and Tina.
me. Oh, okay. I'll wait.
No.
Want to
Miss
give me
Reese,
so much. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, great. Okay, is it legal on the state of North Carolina for people to gift you money? Like if they say, I really need this done and I'm gonna make it worth your time. So, and it's usually more than what the actual fee was.
That's a negative. When it comes to us being a public official, we are
Mhm.
not supposed to receive any monies beyond the notarial fee
Okay.
or the mileage, okay? Because that could be considered as robbery, putting us in
Mm.
putting us in a very jeopardizing position. So the goal is to always make sure you make it very clear. We appreciate the offer. However, by
Okay.
law, it's in the statutes. We cannot accept beyond what the notarial fee is.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
very welcome. And Tina, you're next, and then Charlene.
Hey, so I had a situation speaking to Melissa. This was maybe a year or something ago, and I was doing a power of attorney, and the woman, so she was older, but not like crazy old. But so I always engage, right? I'll ask questions and just to see where they are, where if
Mm-hmm.
they're competent enough to sign the power of attorney. And so that particular day, the lady was fine. She answered all my questions. I asked her where she worked. When she did, she was retired, but where did you used to work? What did you do? Da, da, da. Questions that, she should have the answers to. And so I had to do something else for the same client. And I went back, and her son is like, I don't know what happened. He's like, she's not in her right mind, right? So she couldn't sign her name. She just forgot how to sign her name.
Oh wow.
So of course we couldn't do the notary. But I guess my point in saying this is that a person could be competent at the time of the signing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, so how would the notary, you know what I'm saying? To the point of maybe the notary doing something illegal. I don't know, but you could be competent at that time of signing as long as she asked appropriate questions and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And then something could just happen one day.
Right. And
Like
it
this
does.
happened out the blue. He was actually getting ready to take her. He was like, we got an appointment because I don't know what's going on. You know,
Mm.
she just woke up and just can't remember anything.
Oh wow.
So Yeah, and so I mean, it's a real sad situation. Um, but I hope everything gets straightened out, with the young lady's aunt or whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to say that sometimes it's not at the time of the signing, it's not totally on the notary.
Oh, definitely not always. And that's another thing too, understanding those that are dealing with dementia and Alzheimer's. It is something that can be very severe. It could be the beginning stages, and only a doctor's care can really help anyone really understand and identify certain signs that's happening. So, for any notary, all of you here, when you're working with a lot of our seniors or anyone that you feel that may actually need additional guidance in asking questions, um, paying attention to detail is so vital in this industry. And it's not just the paperwork, it is the people that you're working with. You understanding personality types as well as body language. Body language is another way of talking. So you want to take the time to ask probing questions. Do you know what today is? Sometimes you be caught up with what's happening. You don't know what today is. So just understanding there's so many different things. Who is the president of the United States? That's a common question, because most people know who is the president, as well as what the season may be, what her husband name may be, or her child's name. So different questions that can help, to the point what Tina expressed, being engaged, having this conversation can really help because you can kind of see when a person is really involved and engaged in communicating with you without feeling like they have to give you short responses. The goal is for you to feel very comfortable and confident that this person is really clear with what they're doing. And so it is a case by case basis, but this is why what we do in our position is no hustle. All right. This is why what we're doing in our position is nothing to play around with. You are dealing with people's livelihoods when it comes to why we're called to assist them with a notarization. So it's very important for you to treat each person with respect and dignity and taking the time as if it was your own affairs being taken care of. It makes all the difference when it comes to that interaction. Thank you for that, Tina. Charlene, you're next.
Hi, this is a comment and a question. I did not renew my NNA, but I did get I won a membership at the North Carolina Notary conference. So I didn't take the test again, and I got my E&O and my background check from notaries.com. And just to let y'all know, for notaries.com, I got a $100,000 E&O for 5 years until my notary expires. Where the NNA, it was for 1 year and it was just a few dollars less. So FYI. But the question is, now that I'm still a member because I had that benefit when I went to the conference, but I'm not taking any of the other things. Can I still say that I'm a member of the NNA, or is that like not great since I didn't renew my test and all that other stuff that they expect?
You can still be a member without going through certain things that they are requiring you to have as a signing agent. And to back up with the E&O, everyone who is here really do need to understand two things. Errors and omissions only cover an error or an omission on the notarial certificate. This is in general, all right? So if you are having coverage, you want to make sure that you have understanding from the company that you're covered by, that if there's an error that you make with maybe misspelling someone's name, that's an error when it comes to who personally appeared before you. And an omission could be easily you forgetting to write in your commission expiration date. If this has caused this person monetary damages, they may be able to sue you And then you want to make sure that $100,000 is enough coverage for whatever that might be that you're actually guilty of making an error or omissions on. All right. So that's the only thing it covers. If you're doing more and you're putting on more responsibility to yourself beyond just actually meeting someone, notarizing a document, and then walking away, then you're going to need professional liability insurance that the E&O is not going to cover. So if you're working as a signing agent, as an example, you are responsible for usually printing out documents that's been sent to you electronically that is a compromise possibly for hacking. So you want to have cybersecurity as well when it comes to insurances. Then if you're also couriering the documents, you're still now responsible for making sure it is in confidence and it's getting to and from the parties it needs to go to only. And that could be a situation where if a document is missed, if it's shipped to the wrong address, that could be a bigger problem where, again, errors and omissions is not going to cover you at all. Professional liability insurance, $1 million is what I always encourage. That's all that I have always had since 2007. I've always maintained my professional liability insurance with the E&O that's included in the company I go through is Hiscox, HISCOX.com, or you can go through Biberk, which is BIBERK.com. And all of those, you want to make sure you talk to an agent to confirm exactly what all is going to cover based on all the things that you provide as services. That is important. It's one thing to purchase a policy, it's another if you don't know what it covers when you're in trouble or if you need it. So just like our medical insurance, you need to know exactly what that coverage is going over when it comes to your payment, so you can have some clarity on what to expect when you go to a vision appointment versus a dental appointment versus a physical for your entire body. It's totally different things. So you want to make sure you understand the scope of what it is that you have, that you're buying, to make sure it's going to cover your assets if ever it needs to be covered. Okay. So again, that's very important for you to make sure you look over those things.
Can you give me the name of the general liability companies again?
It's going to be, and it's professional liability that you're going to focus on.
I'm
It's
sorry,
going to be
professional
the
liability. Mm-hmm.
Hiscox, HISCOX. And
Mm-hmm.
then Biberk is another one, BIBERK. Biberk is probably less expensive than Hiscox, but I sit with Hiscox because I've been with them forever. So there's no reason for me to break anything that wasn't, or fix anything that's not broken, I should say. But yeah, I've got general liability with them too because of other things that I do in my business.
Oh, you said general liability, professional liability. Are those separate? So
Those are different.
you have both?
I have both because I also train in buildings that require general liability insurance. As a professional liability insurance is for my profession, but the general liability insurance covers incidentals if I'm renting a space, a building, where anyone that has a brick and mortar will have to have general liability insurance to conduct business in that establishment.
Okay, so ours is typically, well, depending on what you do, is professional liability. And then you mentioned
Yeah.
cybersecurity insurance.
Cybersecurity insurance, yes. That is because if you're as a signing agent or anyone who's taking a risk receiving information from someone, a third party, that you're actually printing documents, now you have information on your server that is confidential information. You have persons' full names, their addresses, their date of birth, social security numbers that could possibly be jeopardized if you have a hacking situation.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Um,
Is there any other comments in or questions in the Q&A section?
yeah. Miss Vicky said, when I made a QR code for the Google business page search, it was too busy to be scanned on a small card. More of
I
a
don't
statement.
know. I don't understand the busy part. When it comes to QR codes, I make for my reviews is very clear. So you might have to find a space on the back of your card to put it, and it might make it easier for you.
All right. And Letitia said Should a newly commissioned notary waiting until the February basics course wait to build a Facebook business page or Google business page? Shouldn't I wait to market until I have some training slash confidence or just jump right in?
It all depends on what type of person you are, honey. So me, I'm like, okay, I know that I have to put certain pressure on myself to move forward. So what I would encourage you to do to still actually build your page. So that way you don't have to be live yet, okay? Because you have to do a publish button and people have to know that you even exist. So in the meantime, you can start building your page after you start thinking about, okay, who am I? Are you doing it as a notary public with your name, or you're trying to actually add a business name? You don't have to do that. Okay. For you just getting started, I encourage you to be your name, Notary Public. So that's who you are. You can create your Google Business profile page with your name, Notary Public. There's quite a few people here that has already done that. If you're going to go to the next step of getting a doing business as, that's an assumed business name, right? You will go to your county register of deeds and actually do a DBA under your name for the notary business. You can have up to 5 under your name. If you're going to another level, which is registering with the Secretary of State, then you're actually looking into doing an LLC at that point. You still can also add 5 DBAs at the county level. Again, that's a lot of information, I know. But this is all the things that we have the ability to do when we're wanting to, again, be in a business position for people to actually visibly see us and call us. But I would get started now for those processes as you're still building your understanding and elevating your knowledge to be proficient as a notary public. So yeah, that's always important is to do refreshers because it's a 5 year time frame from one term to another. And if you're not actively notarizing documents, how well versed are you if someone asks you for your services? Especially if you're not taking time to look through your manual every single week. The goal is for you to stay up to date and making sure you're sharpening the saw. That class is not enough for you to retain all the information, just like this hour plus is not enough for you to retain all of this without you digesting and dissecting information to really understand it. So, again, take your time to really understand what it is that you should be proficient in when you're serving others. So, that was a good question. But yes, you can start now without really promoting until you feel confident, but you got to start somewhere. Okay, so just take a chance on you. And with that being said, if you have someone that says, hey, I know you're a notary, can you notarize something for me? If you ask them what it is, if they can send you a photo of what that looks like without exposing their personal information, you can always forward it to me and say, hey, Belinda, can you help me with this? This is my first one. I get this often because notaries are coming to me for their first assignments on anything. And I will walk you through on exactly what to do so you can have a little bit more support when you get started on your very first one. So you won't be by yourself. Okay.
And then Reese said, does the signature have to be legible?
Signature on what?
Sometimes when people are writing, especially a lot of people that are maybe ailing and they're kind of shaky. So
Mhm.
are, are we supposed to be able to actually read their name, or we're just watching them sign?
So we are witnessing them signing in front of us, and we are able to cross-reference that signature with what's on their ID. So if you can see that it looks like their hand's a little shaky, we can document that in our notary journal. So we can actually say, okay, well, I did witness them sign it. It looks a
Mhm.
little different because it looks like they were again wasn't able
Mhm.
to hold the pen firmly because we
Mhm.
know that can happen. So it's all about you being able to identify, take
Okay.
meticulous notes of what you witnessed.
Okay. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Good question. I know we have went over 10 minutes, and I don't have a training at 8 o'clock to go to, so I'm good. So for all of those that want to hang for maybe another 5, 10 minutes, you can. If there's other questions, because the goal is for you to, again, walk away with more value than what you came into, because the goal is for you to, again, get help while you're here and just know that you have a community of support.
Yeah, Belinda, this Joy, my hand has been raised, but
Oh, I'm so sorry, sweetie.
no problem. I just wanted to add, I went to the hospital and did a signing. The patient, his body was shutting down.
Oh, Lord.
His body was under distress, and he was literally deteriorating.
Mm,
So when I went there, I explained everything ahead of time because she asked a million questions prior to me coming. So I made sure I was clear and everything was in writing that I sent to her. However, I went there, I had my witnesses, and he wasn't able to speak, but I asked the questions and I had like, you know, is it one or two or whatever, so he can
hmm
shake his head and nod because he couldn't speak at all.
Oh,
And
okay.
so he was, on pain medication and all that stuff too. And I explained that to them clearly. So as I was going through the screening questions, he was answering them.
Okay.
He was nodding his head. I say nod. I say, who's the president? Is this your daughter? And I have a series of
Yeah.
questions, and I ask more than two or three when it's a case like that. And so he answered the questions. He wasn't able to sign how he signed because of his condition. I added the extra
Mm,
verbiage like I was supposed to, by his name. It was pretty much like a Mark signature by Mark, pretty much, because he couldn't really
right.
do
Right.
anything. So I added the extra verbiage to that. And my witnesses witnessed that, but I asked them, do you feel that he is in a position that he understood what I was saying? Because they was there. And I say,
Correct.
you let me know if you feel like, we should move forward. And they actually, they was like, yeah, I think so. Well, can you ask him one more question? And I said, sure. And I did that because they're witnessing that as well, right? And
Right.
so I moved forward with the signing, and everything was okay. But a lot of people, they wait until a situation like that happen
Yeah.
before they get their affairs in order. And that's what most people do, so
Unfortunately.
yeah, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm working with this young lady. Her father, I mean, it was really bad. Her father had a girlfriend for umpteen years. When he passed away, she was trying to take everything. She did take everything. And she,
Mm,
she had to go through small claims. I mean, what is it? Probate and all of that
probate.
stuff, right? And so we are in the process of partnering, getting ready to do workshops so people can do stuff ahead of time. You know what I'm saying? So they can do
Yeah.
stuff ahead of time just to educate them, because people don't like talking about death and they don't like talking about stuff like that. But,
Yeah.
you
It's
know,
necessary.
yeah, but it has to happen. So, back to the other young lady when she was saying that, they, that her aunt wasn't in the, right state of mind or what have you. But,
Hmm
sometimes if we ask those questions and we, feel like we can move forward, we move forward and make the appropriate notes in our journal.
I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Joy. So, any other questions or comments? For those that are not aware, there are training opportunities for you to take advantage of. This year, again, allow yourself to grow more this year than you did last year. Always be your own competition of being able to elevate. I have several training opportunities. I have the next one coming up January the 23rd and 24th, which is the first one of the year, which is a combination training. Instead of me spreading these trainings out for the Notary Basics Accelerated, instead of it being once a quarter for different documents that we cover each time, in this 2 day training, we will actually go over 16 documents that you will be able to have available to you to refer to as resources. The goal is for you to not just hear about what to do, but know exactly how to do it. And these will give you the opportunity to do hands-on in person with another notary to notarize documents. So again, the mock signings that you hear, it's not about being a signing agent. This is about understanding how to notarize an acknowledgement, how to notarize a jurat or a verification or proof document. Many of you don't even understand what a subscribing witness is. If that's you probably should be in this class because these are services, again, that we can only provide as a notary public. And if you know how to help a person who's in need, this is one of the ways you can arm yourself with knowledge. Always be learning. That is my motto. So the goal is for you to know that you can take the time to invest in you, yourself, and your community to help them because that's who you are, right? So the goal for me is to always make sure you're well educated and knowledgeable and you have something to walk away with of value. Beyond that, we have our specialty training services where I go over how to be a signing agent, how to be a fingerprint roller, to fingerprint others. I had someone that requested those services not long ago who is working in foster care. And when it comes to foster parents, they have to go through a an extensive background check. So they're needing someone that can actually work with their facility. And I'm honored to be thought of. But with that being said, I want to make sure I have local notaries that has the ability to do the same so I can help you also stay busy. Um, Being an aposty facilitator and or the courier, that is something that you can also add to your services. So I touch on the basics of all of those things so you can have an introduction on what it is and what you can consider doing. That way you can make a decision if that's something you want to incorporate as services that you can offer in extension to being just a notary public for general notary work. Okay. So again, if you want to have more knowledge of certain things, these trainings are for that reason. I also offer just the Notary Basics Accelerated online, where you can also take those 2 days in February. So those dates are 20th and the 21st. You can go to my website, which is ncnotarytraining.education, and you'll be able to find all of the list of trainings that is offered for the year. With the exception of the business classes, that's for entrepreneurs, and you're an entrepreneur if you're actually working your notary services as a business offering. So that includes you with the first one, as I shared before, the content planning. If you're on Facebook, you'll be able to see the event. You can go to the link and register, get more insight on what you can look forward to. Again, how it's going to benefit you with visibility, search engine optimization, all that is covered when it comes to what you have the ability to do with an affordable rate. And with that affordability, I also take payment plans through Afterpay. So if you're an Afterpay user or you're just wanting to learn more about Afterpay, it can be great. You can do biweekly payments up to 8 weeks for that one fee, or if it's over $400, for those of you that are truly gung ho in doing the trainings and really leveling up this year, you have already did all or signed up for all of them. Well, I can invoice you, and that way you can pay over a 6 to 12 month period of time. So all of those things are relevant and optional for you to use. And the signing agent class, I do teach it through the Carteret Community College. So during 2 days of the week each month, it's going to be split days from 8:30 to 12:30 on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. The next one's coming up is in February, the first week of February. And then I have the 8 hour class, which is kind of like seven because you have an hour lunch break on a Saturday that I do independently with my business. So again, there's opportunities. The goal is for you guys to level up. This is the year for you to actually expand and not feel like you're wasting time nor money on platforms and trainings that's not doing you any good. If you cannot reach your trainer or your coach when it comes to you having these vital questions, what are you doing? So the goal is for you to know that you have a resource here. That is what I'm passionate about. This is what I do full time is assist notaries. Okay. So again, my goal is to help you guys where you're at. It's all about meeting you where you are and that you feel like you got to do something to get to the point of talking to me. Having a conversation is all you have to do to know if I am the person for you or not, and vice versa. I'm not for everybody, not everyone's for me. That's fair. So the goal is for you to take 15 minutes of your time and have an intro call with me, and we can go from there. So I'm gonna drop some of these in the chat so you can actually have the information on how you can actually go to the trainings, or at least see the list of it. Any other questions? Again, please do speak. And I am trying to actually type, so I'm sorry. I know someone is raising their hand. Let me see who is it, because I have to toggle. So I have Connie and then Shanta. Okay. I hope I said your name correctly. I apologize if I messed it up.
Good evening.
Okay.
I wanted to know the class is being offered the end of January. I believe it's the weekend of the 23rd, 24th. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, will that be offered again?
So on my page for the NC Notary training, or Notary Basics, is the NC Notary Basics that you're talking about.
Mhm.
It's 4 times this year. So you'll be able, actually, it's 8 times. You have
Okay.
4 in-person opportunities and 4 online opportunities.
Okay, thank you.
And they're once a quarter. So if you miss January in person, you have the option to do the online in February, and the
Okay.
same for the next quarter to come.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And Shanta or Shanta,
Okay.
Shantae, thank you. Sorry about that. Shantae, I'm big on saying someone's name properly because I think it's so rude when you don't. So I apologize.
It's okay. First, thank you for helping me earlier.
Oh, you're welcome.
My question is about the RON and with apostilles. Is it possible? I mean, what is the benefit of? Because I don't know that I haven't been real active since I got my notary, but I want to focus on the apostilles and estate planning. Um, so with the RON, how beneficial would that be with that?
Right now, that is undecided until we actually have more clarity on what that looks like. But as far as our posses in general, that is something that's lucrative for a lot of notaries that have been able to tap into that service area. And I say this because you have a lot of property that's overseas, and you got people that's local that has business over there. So a lot of their documents has to be apostilled here in order for it to actually be recognized there, to move forward legally. There's 2 experts here in our audience that are truly gurus in the aposty facilitation and courier. Tina Jones Howard is someone I highly recommend. Joy Lewis, that was speaking earlier as well. She is another one. They're both in the Wake County area. And so that is the information that I will also supply to you guys, if you don't have it already. So that way, if you're wanting to get more specifics on the process of how you're going to get it to a location for your client, because I'm in Charlotte, I will just simply send my paperwork to Tina. Tina will walk into the Secretary of State's office. She will then pick it back up, mail it back to me, and I give it back to my client. That's a summary of what that will look like. But then you will have to know exactly how to charge. And so when you actually get your fee schedule down pat, that will definitely help you make sure you're not being in the red when you do that. So the goal is for you to understand pricing and what all is involved, so you don't actually miscalculate how much you're charging. And many people again kick themselves in the beginning because they're not setting themselves up properly in the beginning. But with the right support, you'll be okay.
Okay. So can you, well, okay. All right. I got you.
All right. Any other comments? I have the information in the chat again. Take the chat, upload this onto your computer so you can have all of the links to go back to actually look at the trainings. I have 4 more coaching sessions for the year. The first 2 quarters have been booked since November. And so these are probably not going to be long to be booked either. So if you're one that really want to focus on elevating your business growth, that is what that is for. So you may still need some confidence building for notarizing documents in general. However, this one-on-one coaching session will help you, or I should say in the program, because it's 10 sessions you will have with me. It will allow you to be in a position where you're going to actually expand your reach. I'm sorry, not 10, but 8. I had to shift some things. So it's 8 sessions, but the information is impactful to you, tailored to you. It's still general information for everyone, but we have the time to get to know each other and me being able to help you along the way very strategically with what it is that you're needing assistance with to further yourself. So again, this is something that you can take advantage of. There's so many different things that I've created because it's all about steps. How efficient are you with notarizing documents? Let's get that down pat first. Once you actually have that and you know how to, again, properly notarize an acknowledgement, a jurat, a verification or proof document, then you can move on to specialty types of training to add other services. Okay. And then once you get that and niche down to what you feel that might be, then you may want to actually take into consideration some of the coaching to help you expand and really be in a position where now you can too become a mentor in your own right. So the goal is train the trainer. That is a program that I'll be creating this year for 2027 so that others can actually do the trainings that I'm doing now in my business for others. The goal is to make sure I duplicate what I'm doing so that others can again expand through the east, the west, north, and the south. I can only do but so much, okay? But I believe in all of you guys. You have the ability to do this too. So it's all about again where your focus is, your mindset. You can make this happen for yourselves. So I appreciate you guys tuning in and staying here as long as you have. It is almost 8 o'clock. And so I know some of you may have to work tomorrow, Wednesday, hump day. So I want to make sure you're getting your beauty sleep and you're ready to actually take care of your day. So if you have any other questions, reach out to me through again Messenger, email, text, phone call. You have access to me through email as well.
Thanks, Belinda.
You're very welcome.
Thank
Y'all
you,
have a good
Belinda,
evening.
as
All right,
always.
bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Belinda.